This is Analog Spectrum. See what happens when you marry a podcaster? He guilts you into doing his intros.
This is FERPA and HIPAA compliant, and this is also Analog Spectrum. This is Tony speaking, and I'm here with Doug, and we're going to do a hodgepodge today.
A hodging it and podging it.
We are. I love it.
It's going to be a fun one.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, Doug said, let's do a hodgepodge, and I have a question I want to ask you, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Well, no, it's not a question. It's a game. We're going to play a game.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even want to. Yeah, it's a little game. I didn't even want to give you any kind of indication of what it was because I know you and you'll go do a bunch of research. And so you'll screw it all up. So
if you had told me not to, I wouldn't. I wouldn't cheat.
I don't believe you. I don't believe
that's cold, bro.
I know it is cold. Yeah, it is.
But, I wouldn't cheat. So
back when we play this game, I'm going to have to see your hands at all times, so you're not typing up shit and looking for answers.
Okay, do you want to start with that, or do you want to? Is it?
I don't know. Let's hodgepodge it a little bit first. What's happening in your world? You told me about taking your dog out in the stroller today.
Yeah. So if anybody follows me on Facebook, any of my friends out there, I got my dog a dog stroller for jogging,
which you use for walking.
And for walking. This is a phenomenon that happens in this guy's brain. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but sometimes, we'll start a topic and I realize that it is potentially a bottomless pit. Like we may be on this for hours if we're not careful. And also often I don't know where to start. So that's how sometimes when we're doing these podcasts, people are like, he sounds like he's drunk or he sounds like a fucking idiot. That's why. Okay. It's not that I'm a fucking idiot. It's just because I'm not too sure. And also or
you're a drunk idiot.
I'm not saying those things are true. Okay. I'm just saying that sometimes I'm sober and I'm not an idiot. And also I am self-aware enough to know that I've been around people that talk and they're boring and I don't want to bore people too much. I mean, hell, if you're listening, what are we going to do about this? Right. So, right. To answer the question about the dog stroller and what the hell's going on is last year I devoted a lot of my time to riding a bike, right? And there is this unusual, phenomenon for me personally, where if I'm training for something, that training is actually beneficial to my physical fitness. Like I'm riding a bike, I am becoming fitter and stronger. And then a point will come where, especially when I'm cycling, where I am tearing my shit apart. Okay. I am hurting myself. I can't lose weight. I'm eating poorly and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I just realized for this year I had to basically park the bikes, kind of refocus and all that. So I'm just not going to ride the bike for a little while. I'm going to try to get my weight down, try to do other exercises. Part of that is I'm going to try to and my wife Melanie, she runs. She's not a big cyclist. She owns a bike, but she prefer to run. And so I'm just going to spend some time with her trying to run. I don't like running. I think it's stupid. But when I'm with her doing it, I can do it. It's somewhat pleasant. And also my life, there's certain situations in my life where I have to go places for extended periods of time. I would like to take my dog with me, but I don't want to leave my dog alone when I'm in those places. So I thought, well, I'm just going to get a dog stroller, take my dog with me. And when I'm there and when I'm running, I'll have my dog with me. And we did take her out today. It took forever to get it. We ordered it. I ordered it January 1st, January 2nd. It was supposed to be here it was Amazon, supposed to be here in 5 days. It took 20 days. It's one of the only things I've ever ordered on Amazon that I gave a crap about. I'm like, where the hell is it? Finally shows up, got here the other day. I'll tell you right now, I will recommend it in Amazon. I don't like the fact that it took forever to get here. I'm an old man. I get crotchety about shit. But that damn thing is super freaking nice, man.
Nice.
It is freaking, it's got air, the tires air up. I put Susie in it. Now, Susie seems to be okay with it. Okay. But does she like it? Does she dislike it? I don't know. Her little dog.
Yeah, right.
Like I was telling you before we started the podcast.
She didn't fill out the survey that you gave her, huh?
Yeah, I tried. I was like, I really need you to give me some good feedback here, Susie. But she wouldn't because she's a dog.
No reviews, no nothing.
She says no nothing. Yeah. So anyway, so I.
Yeah, no, my wife wants to borrow that thing for our Chihuahua, but I swear there's no way that Chihuahua's going to stay in that thing. She's going to try to leap out it. Yeah, and she won't wear a harness. She won't wear a leash, collar.
You got to have it. You could try it. I mean, you can borrow it. It's not a big deal. But and Susie did try to jump out today, but I honestly, God, I don't think it was she was scared. I don't think it was anything like that. She seemed like she was fine. I just felt like in like a dog's brain, she was over it. She wanted to get out, and so she leaked. Yeah, she leaked out, and then we put her back in, and she was fine. So.
Yeah, well, there you go, dog stroller.
Yeah, and then that whole like tearing myself down thing. Melanie and I want to do like a long run, so probably running will become like cycling, and I'll crush myself on running. So
yeah, I don't like running, man.
Well, you and I have done runs together. You and I have actually run together.
Yeah, no. I used to run. Yeah, when Elsa and I first met. In fact, I could actually beat her. That's long since gone. She's 12 years younger than me, so it's long gone. Kicks my ass.
So okay. I know we're doing Coast Guard on other things. I'm gonna digress into that just for a second, okay?
Go.
Because we were talking about physical fitness when we talked about the boot camp Coast Guard thing, right? And the Coast Guard's like running requirement, especially for men, especially in that young age, is and even I mentioned it to Melanie. Even she was like, "That's a little insane." And what it is a mile and a half, and I want to say 12 and a half seconds, right?
12 and a half minutes.
Huh? Oh, 12 and a half minutes. Yeah, 12 seconds. It's seconds. You really have to haul ass. No, 12 and a half minutes. 12 and a half minutes, right? Sorry. I fucked up. Anyway.
That's 8-minute mile, basically.
What's that? 8-minute mile.
It's 8-minute mile, right?
Yeah, no, but that's, if you're not a runner, that's not slow.
Pretty quick, yeah.
And when I went through boot camp, and also I think it's like 35 sit-ups in a minute and 29 push-ups in a minute. And when I went through boot camp, push-ups, sit-ups, that was fine. The run, like, I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. And I almost didn't. Okay. And truth be told, what ended up happening was the day we were supposed to do the run, I was freaking out about it. It freaking snowed, and we ended up having to do a shuttle run in the gym. It wasn't a mile and a half. It was like doing like a back and forth over. And so I did the shuttle run instead of the mile and a half. And
you got lucky a lot of times in the Coast Guard.
I did get lucky a lot in the Coast Guard. I did. Yeah. So, what are you defining as me getting lucky? You mean as far as like becoming a PA or what?
Well, no, you told a couple of Coast Guard stories recently where, where you ended up on the 50 cal.
I got Key West out of a school, which was amazing. I did go to PA school.
And I mean, your luckiest break of all is you met me. So Jesus, that's like...
Dude, I tell people that every day, even people I don't know. They're like, what's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you? I said, Med Dog. And they're like,
that's it. Yeah, I get it.
They go,
I heard a lot, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, they said that sounds kind of cultish. It is.
Hey, by the way, I got some Kool-Aid for you.
Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, so I did get lucky on that. So I added to the list. I did get lucky on that. But now I'm thinking I would like to be able to do a mile and a half and 12.5. I would.
I mean, I remember having to do that, and I was a tall, lanky dude, but I still didn't like the run. It's always the cardio that gets me,
Yeah.
My legs are always fine, but I can't breathe.
No, that's again, there's people out there that are probably listening going 12.5, who cares? Or 12 and a half, who cares? That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like my pace right now for a mile is nowhere close. So
I'm comfortable at a 15-minute mile.
Right. Exactly.
It's basically walking.
So that's my miles just under that. So what have you been up to?
Oh man, just stuff around the house. A little bit frustrated with Lowe's. We ordered a bunch of cabinets and stuff. We're redoing this whole house, and the lady's like, "Oh yeah, man, there's a smoking deal on cabinets. You get like I don't know, whatever it is, 15% off, and then you put it on a Lowe's card and you get another 5% off." And I'm like, "Well, shit, that's pretty good." So she gave us the total for all of the cabinets. And I'm like, yikes, that's a little bit expensive. And then we took those percentages off. I'm like, oh shit, that's actually better. I can do that. And then she goes on vacation, so we're not going to get the deal.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, I don't know. We might be able to retro into it if I complain hard enough or something. But anyway, yeah. So
I think you should complain hard enough.
Yeah, I will complain.
Yeah.
And then they sent a guy out to measure my windows. We're going to replace all the windows and doors. And he came out today, took 3 steps into the courtyard. And he's like, yeah, I remember this house. I was here. And some English lady owned it. And she was terrible. Just like bitching about this lady. Nobody that we've met that has run into them here in the neighborhood liked them at all. They were just apparently terrible people. yeah, this guy experienced that as well. But 3 steps in, he's like, hey, you know what? I hate to do this to you, but I can't give you a quote. I'm not even going to waste your time. I'm gonna get my installer guy to come out and see if he can even do it because you have a stucco house. And I'm like, well, that would be a nice thing for you guys to, ask me at the store.
Right.
Because I've been waiting for him for a week. But anyway, yeah, grumpy old man stuff is really, that's all it is.
Well, both of us have been around long enough to where we've had to do home stuff, right? And even when it goes perfect, it doesn't go perfect. When you contract somebody to do stuff, it's going there's going to be moments where you're like, this is going sideways. So
yeah, well, we're doing a lot of this work ourselves. We're re-drywalling some of the stuff. We're going to paint ourselves interior. Well, I might actually paint exterior myself. It just depends. There's a few decks that we want to take off before we do that. I'm just not sure when I'm going to do it, but yeah, we're going to put in a cheap above ground pool just so we can have a place to splash around in the summertime.
Right.
Yeah, let's do it with like $500.
You're way more of a man than me. I don't do anything anymore. I just don't.
Yeah, I just kind of like it. To me, honestly, I enjoy the process of doing it, and I enjoy the learning of how the technical side of how to do stuff. I just like learning shit like that. And that's why I'm going to build that car. Same thing. I never built a car,
right?
But I'll figure it out. I'll learn.
I would do that. I would build the car, but a lot of the and okay,
you're going to build a car.
Well, I would also like after you get done with yours, there may be a situation where I go, hey, I'll do one too, and we'll just do 2 cars, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, there have been times in my life where I've done like home improvement, and when we were up in Seattle, we had a massive flood in our house, and that's a whole other story. But we did have contract because USA, our insurance company, covered it. They sent in the crew, and I remember like watching those guys work and the things they did and the tools they had. I'm just like, I don't have those resources. I just don't have that knowledge base. So having it done, even like the floor, we're having a floor put in, and for anybody out there about ready to roll their eyes, there's really nice laminate out there now, and so we're actually going to put down a laminate floor. And
dude, with pets and stuff, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, stuff is awesome here.
So I've put down a laminate floor before. I could probably do this one, but I just know that the guy, when we get the crew in there, they're going to do it. It's expensive though. It's crazy expensive though to have it done.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Is I'm trying to stretch the dollars because there's so much to do. This is a serious fixer upper, man. You saw it.
Yeah.
It's like the Munster sellers. But anyway, yeah, I'm just trying to stretch the dollars. So if I can do the work myself and not be terrible at it, then I actually kind of enjoy it. But
yeah,
today wasn't fun because the drywall thing was really kicking my butt. So I just stopped and said, I'll pick this up tomorrow.
I can kind of tell it's taking it out of you a little bit, bro. I can tell.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I'll get back on it.
So anyway, yeah, other than that, I don't know. I mean, work. What are you going to do?
Yeah, the huge.
Yeah, and then like we were saying offline, I just need to retire, man. I mean, I'm in this weird place now in my life where I and I gotta be really clear. My job's not hard, and they pay me well enough. You know what I mean? I make decent money. The job's not particularly hard, but it's almost like I have this intrinsic either, I don't know, frustration or just not even anxiety, where I'm just kind of like, hey, and I'll be honest, even our conversations about how you're kind of moving forward where you're living, I'm not super happy where we're at living wise. Not that it's bad, it's fine, but I can kind of see, selling the house and I just want to be with Melanie and freaking do fun stuff,
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I'm not sure that I'm ever going to like retire, I've been kind of lucky because I retired from the Coast Guard at 38. So I was young, and then I worked for Starbucks for quite a few years, and then I decided to go to college, got a degree, and I was in my own business for a long time. But doing my own business was sort of like semi-retirement. I didn't have to work real hard, so I didn't work real hard. There was a couple, I got gigs doing stuff that was kind of cool. And then I bust my ass on that. I try to do a really good job for clients when I get clients, but I didn't go out and pound the pavement for clients like if I was 25 years old and I had to pay the mortgage, stuff like that. So that was sort of like semi quasi retirement. But when I got this job, the whole thing, that changed and spun and made me really, really enjoy this job is the people that I work for. The people that own this store are awesome. They're super friendly, generous, nice people. They're honest. It's none of the corporate stuff, so I don't have any of that like bleh, icky kind of crap to deal with. And I kind of got free reign. I can do almost whatever I want as long as we're successful. And so to me, that freedom is it's liberating. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to stay here as long as I can.
Cool.
And it's not one of those like, oh yeah, I have status. I'm the mayor. That kind of crap. I don't even care what anybody else thinks about me being a retail manager guy because I enjoy it. That's the number one. So.
Matter of fact, we've talked about some other stuff about your job. It's all offline stuff, but don't when we get done, I want to ask some other questions. But
okay, yeah. There's some stuff we shouldn't probably talk publicly about.
Nothing bad, but yeah, give me that trivia question.
You ready for the game?
Yeah, I can't even think straight.
Okay, so here's the game. The game is I have 10. But I put 3 bonus ones on here. So total, I have 13 questions for you.
Okay.
And these are in reference to all-time album sales.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, which of these records do you think sold more? And then you have to answer which you think sold more. Make sense?
Yeah.
And I got 13 comparisons for you to go through. And then at the end, I'll tell you what you got right and what you got wrong. And then we'll go through a list of like some of the biggest of all time and that kind of stuff.
Wow. All right, let's go.
It should be kind of fun, whatever. It's like, and there's some surprises in here. Like when I read this list, I was like, wow, really? And then so that's why I figured, this would be a fun one for the podcast. So
got it. Yeah.
Okay. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Number 1, which one sold more? So by the way, the ratings here, the numbers is, I forgot what the organization is called, but they're the ones who officially say like, okay, you sold 1 million records or platinum or whatever it is, whatever. That's what the organization.
All right.
So you ready? Here we go. Number 1, which sold more records? Fleetwood Mac Rumors or Boston? Boston's first album, Boston. I know it's tough.
Yeah.
Starting out of the gate.
I know the Boston's first album held a lot of records about being a number 1 debut album. So I'm going to go Boston.
Okay. Number 2, Zeppelin 4. That's the one with Stairway to Heaven. Or Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Man, this is apples to apples. It really is, by the way.
I know, they're hard.
I'm going to go The Wall.
Okay. Okay, this one might be a little harder, but I think you'll see why I went here. Number 3, Garth Brooks, No Fences. So in the 80s, that was massive, right? Or Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, which of course was also massive.
I would say Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks. Okay. Number 4, this is a tough one. I think you'll find this one tough. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, or AC/DC, Back in Black.
I would go Guns N' Roses, man. That debut album was insane.
It was pretty big.
Yep.
Number 5, the Beatles. So they did a series of, they colored then. There's a blue one and a red one and whatever. And it's like their greatest hits, right?
Oh, those. I remember those. The blue and the red. Yeah, I remember those 2 albums.
Yeah. Okay. The Beatles' Blue Album or Elton John's greatest hits?
Oh, crap. I'd go Beatles Blue. I mean, because I used to see that thing around everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Number 6.
Oh, by the way, Elton John had more than 1 greatest hits. He had like 3 greatest.
I'm talking greatest hits 1. That was his better selling. He did have greatest hits 2 as well.
Yeah, I think he had a greatest hits 3 also, which is, that just speaks volumes. But I'm still going to go Blue Album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 6, Metallica, the Black Album, Metallica, their mega album.
Yep.
Or Billy Joel's greatest hits 1 and 2.
I'll go Billy Joel. What the hell?
Okay.
I had it. I had Billy Joel.
Yeah, I got them both. In fact, I got everything on here except that Beatles record.
Yes.
Okay. Number 7. This is a little curveball, I think. But Bob Marley's Legend or Adele 21. 21 was her big. That was Adele's big
Yeah,
one.
son of a gun, man. You're really do you have these albums? Do you have 21? Do you actually have that album?
I don't. No, I was not a huge Adele fan. I love her voice, but
Me
I
too.
just can't get into her music. And Adele. Okay. So Bob Marley's Legend or Adele 21?
Only because it would be crazy stupid. I'm going to go with Bob Marley.
Okay. Number 8, Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell,
I love that album.
or the Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys. That was their initial album.
This is a good game, by the way. I like
I
this.
know. That's pretty
This
fun.
is good. I'll go Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys. I don't even know any songs they sing. I was
I don't
going to
have that
sing a
album.
Backstreet Boys, but
I don't have that album. I listened to. I had the Bat Out of Hell cassette, and I listened to it to the point it was like I probably owned it multiple times, and the CD, and I got it on. That's an amazing album, and I don't think
it is phenomenal.
Doesn't get the credit it
Songwriting,
deserves. Yep.
phenomenal. Yeah,
Unbelievable. But
yeah.
so I know Backstreet Boys were like insanely popular. So
Yeah, they were hugely popular.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I think if I was sitting in your chair would be the hardest one of the whole list. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, or Eagles' Greatest Hits?
you're right. Oh my God. Everybody has that Eagles Greatest Hits album. Everybody. As a matter of fact, I think that is a law in California that you own that album.
You have to have it too. Welcome to California. You have to purchase your driver's license and Eagles' Greatest Hits.
Well, is that Eagles Greatest Hits? You said volume 1?
The first one, yeah.
The first one, yeah. That's the better one. So, oh crap! I'll go with the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles only because not that people don't love, but I think let me tell you my logic on this. We probably should know this from the get go. I think both albums are amazing, but I think the Eagles' Greatest Hits is much more mainstream than Floyd.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Number 10, the Beatles. So they're the Beatles record, or Michael Jackson, Thriller. Okay.
Yeah, so
these are the bonus ones. I was going to stop there, and I thought, these are the kind of cool ones too. This one, there's some comparisons here. You're like, holy shit! I don't really want this. Like this one, you won't have any idea. Ready?
Yeah.
Purple Rain by Prince, or Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits.
These are amazing. I love this. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to go Purple Rain though. I'm going to go Purple Rain.
Okay. Number 12, Hotel California, or Thriller.
Okay, and again, I will tell you, it's funny because the reason I'm really enjoying this is you mentioned these albums. I know these albums, like literally, and the reason I'll even say Thriller is because that was just a crazy that was like 1982, 83, something like that when the album came out.
Yeah, right on there.
That thing dominated.
Yeah. Oh, it dominated big. Yeah.
For like 2 years. You remember the Thriller video? And by the way, if anybody's listening and they haven't seen the Thriller video, where have you been? Oh, it's insane.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Michael Jackson, Thriller. Look it up. Vincent Price. Yeah. Look up the long. Make sure you see the long version as well.
Yes. Yeah. George Landis. John Landis. Sorry. The guy who did American Werewolf in London and all that. He directed it. It's amazing.
Yeah. That was big. Yeah. Okay. Last one. Whitney Houston, The Bodyguard soundtrack, or Hootie and the Blowfish, Cracked Rearview Mirror.
I was listening to Hootie today. Okay, interesting thing about Hootie. Okay, I'm going to go with Whitney Houston on that one. But the interesting thing about Hootie is I did a TAD, temporary assigned duty Coast Guard again story in Charleston, South Carolina, when Hootie was just blowing up, right? Like I got there and that was a crazy temporary assignment because everybody on the boat was like, dude, have you heard of Hootie and the Blowfish? They just got this album. And I was like, no. And it was honestly like I was on a parallel track to their journey. You know what I mean? It was the weirdest thing. It was the weirdest thing. Like Hootie, and it was also funny because I was probably like 27 years old at the time. And all the non-rates on the boat, all the 18, 19-year-olds, they were like calling me like old man because I never heard Hootie, which is ironic as shit now because they're literally like a day and a half older than me, you know? So
right.
All right, how'd I do?
Yeah, it's funny because you remember Concrete Blonde?
Yes.
They did that song Joey and whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw them in San Diego at a tiny ass little bar before they were before they were popular. And I had, I just remembered, I thought that name was really cool. And they did a rendition of a song that was popular at the time in a commercial, in like a Hershey's Kisses commercial or something. And they just totally revamped this tune, and it was totally instrumental. And I just thought they were the greatest, man. And then, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, this album pops. I'm like, wait a minute, it's the band I just saw in San Diego in this tiny little venue, but that was cool. So anyway, okay, are you ready? You ready to find out your wins and losses? Okay, so tell me again, Fleetwood Mac and Boston. You chose Boston.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Boston's first album sold 17 million records. Fleetwood Mac Rumors, 20 million.
Shit. I'm not going to get any of these right, am I?
You did get some right.
Okay, great.
Okay, so number 2, Zeppelin 4 versus Pink Floyd The Wall. You picked Pink Floyd The Wall. Pink Floyd The Wall sold 23 million, and Zeppelin 4 sold 24 million.
Boo, one for me.
It was close. No, close. You missed that one.
Yeah.
But it was close.
Yeah.
So you picked The Wall. You missed by 1. But anyway.
Oh, I picked The Wall?
You picked The Wall, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay, number 3, Garth Brooks, No Fences, or Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Springsteen sold 17 million, and Garth Brooks was 18 million. So you got that one.
I got that one right.
You got that one, yep. Next up, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, and AC/DC Back in.
Oh, real quick, just comment on that. The Garth Brooks one, that one I was almost like, I know that's a trick question. Garth Brooks was so freaking crazy popular in the 80s, man.
He was massive.
He was massive, yeah.
I'm gonna go over the list of all these best-selling albums. He's got like 2 or 3 on here. It's just crazy. I mean, yeah. So anyway, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction versus AC/DC Back in Black, a clear winner. You picked GNR. They sold 18 million. AC/DC Back in Black, 25 million.
Wow.
That was a massive, massive record. I think it was time, right? Because it wasn't,
right.
I mean, it was big when it was big, but I think it just stayed big. Like
it did. For
a long time, yeah. I was listening to it yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was picking that one, I was really picking it on how that GNR album just exploded. It didn't maintain, but it blew up, right?
It was big. Yeah.
That was my concern with Back in Black, is that it would be a burner.
Yeah. That was exactly what happened. Yeah.
Like, in other words, it would just be one that just kind of kicked. Because yeah, dude, that was again when we were in high school, that was a required purchase, man.
Oh, Back in Black. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I had
to have it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay, number 5, the Beatles' Blue Album or Elton John's Greatest Hits. You chose Elton John, I think, didn't you? Or did you choose the Beatles?
No, I chose the Blue Album.
You chose Beatles. Okay. It doesn't matter because that was a trick question. It's a tie at 17 million.
Okay.
They both sold 17 million. Trick question. Next one, Metallica's Black Album and Billy Joel's Greatest Hits 1 and 2. You picked Billy Joel, which was correct. Metallica's Black Album sold 16 million and Billy Joel was 23 million.
Yeah, I love that. I love that Greatest Hits.
Oh man, I know that album literally word for word. That's one that I know.
And for people wondering, like you're saying Billy Joel 1 and 2, it was released as Billy Joel's. It was a double album.
Billy Joel's 1 and 2, yeah.
It was a double album, yeah.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Okay, number 7, Bob Marley Legend versus Adele 21, and you picked Bob Marley, and again, you were correct. Adele was 14 million, and Bob Marley was 15 million.
Oh, wow, they were close.
It was close, but yeah. So
that was a tricky one. That was really tricky because by the time we got to this point, I was doing what I was talking about with Dark Side of the Moon, which I could very well be wrong on Dark Side of the Moon. Is that some of these albums are a bit niche, Yeah. But with that said, Bob Marley would probably be more niche, but I think that's one that's got just like Back in Black, man. I mean, I don't know when Legends came out, but people continue to purchase Bob Marley.
Well, to give you some backup on that particular thought, my wife's father likes Bob Marley Legend, and he is 80 years old in South Africa. So,
right.
I mean, it's pretty broad.
Yeah, it is. And people do listen to it, and it is good. But so is Adele.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So. Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell versus Backstreet Boys. Again, trick question. It was a tie.
Really?
14 million apiece.
Wow.
So, and I thought that was interesting because of how different those two records really are.
Right.
Bat Out of Hell with this just crazy poetic lyrics and insane guitar and musical instrumentation, and the Backstreet Boys with pop music, but they both sold 14 million records.
I think, and I'm not a fan of the Backstreet Boys. I don't have anything negative to say about them. I think they probably are very talented. I think they definitely were kind of, they hit when they needed to hit. Yeah, to me, Bat Out of Hell, I think Backstreet Boys, whatever, right? Great. It's like Spice Girls. You know what I mean? It's like, hey,
yeah, do your thing, whatever.
Yeah, you do you be you. That's great. And I do think they have a lot of talent, but I do feel like Meatloaf, and I forget who was the songwriter for Meatloaf. I mean, he didn't write his music, but it was like there was I can't remember. I'll have to, just like Elton John, but
with Bernie Tomlin.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to look it up. The guy but the guy who wrote for Meatloaf. He also did he wrote for like Bonnie Tyler. You once you hear his lyrics, you hear them everywhere. But Bat Out of Hell is orchestral. It's the song Bat Out of Hell, dude. And it's funny because I think my wife hates how much I like it. Like we're in the car and I'll just, to come on, I'll crank it up. And I know every word, and she's probably like, Jesus, please don't sing Bat Out of Hell at like full volume.
It's funny because that's one from our era that she knows it and she likes it.
Oh, I love it. Well, I don't know for sure. Like my wife is not one to go like, shut up. I mean, but I can tell when it comes on, I can.
She's got her fingers in her ears.
Going, I can kind of feel the eye roll. I can kind of feel the eye roll, So, but no, I'll freaking belt out that and Paradise by the Dashboard Lights.
Paradise
amazing.
By the Dashboard, forget it, dude. That's awesome.
As a matter of fact, I think the number one song on that album was 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, and I like that. Okay,
in popularity, but not in style and substance. Not from my perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the one that probably, it wasn't my favorite on there.
Yeah, not from my perspective. Yeah.
There's a few that were amazing. So, but anyway.
Okay. So number 9, Dark Side of the Moon versus Eagles' Greatest Hits. You chose the Eagles' Greatest Hits, and you were correct. Dark Side of the Moon, I think for a while that really was the best-selling album of all time, but it got dwarfed eventually. And that sold 15 million copies, and the Eagles' Greatest Hits sold 38 million copies.
Son of a bitch. I knew it.
It's double Dark Side of the Moon. It's more than double Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That is crazy.
I know. Well, you talked about earlier, I mentioned with Bat Out of Hell, like owning multiple copies as a cassette, because I'd wear it out. I wore out the Eagles' Greatest Hits too, so.
Yeah. And you know what? If you dig in, there's a documentary about this, and that was not their idea. That was their producer's idea to release that.
I remember one time, and this is this memory, and this was worth documenting. Like one time I was hanging with this guy. It was, I was dating a girl in Alabama, right? And she was sweet, and she had a bunch of friends. And one of her friends, man, it was this guy, and he wasn't super bright, right? He wasn't the brightest guy. He was a real nice guy. And by the way, he was like an actor, like a model, really good looking. And I was like listening to that Eagles' Greatest Hits. This memory just came back to me. I'm so glad because you'll enjoy this. And we were driving someplace to go like camping or something, and he was riding with me. Like again, just a sweet dude, right? And after like the third or fourth song, he goes, "Man, this album has got like all the best Eagles songs on it." And I go, "It's their greatest hits," and he goes, "Exactly."
Nice. Well, at least he was observant enough to notice.
It's their greatest hits, man. And he goes,
"Yeah,
exactly, man." And I was like,
yes. That's funny. Okay, you ready? Number 10.
Okay,
Beatles or Michael Jackson, Thriller, and you picked Thriller, and you were correct. Yeah. The Beatles sold 24 million, and Thriller sold 34 million.
Boom.
Yeah, crazy. Purple Rain versus Simon and Garfunkel. You picked Purple Rain, and you were off. That was 13 million. Simon and Garfunkel's greatest hits was 14 million. Simon and frickin' Garfunkel.
I love it. I love that album. I love it.
It's a great album. It is.
It's a great album. No, it's the greatest hits. Exactly.
Yeah. But it's not one of those that you put up there when you don't think about it, when somebody's just top selling albums,
Oh, I know, but to our listeners, if you've never listened to Simon and Garfunkel and you've never listened to that greatest hits, there are songs on there that are like snapshots of the 60s, that kind of culture of the 60s. And they are, if you listen, they're, poetic doesn't do it justice how good they are.
Yeah, Sound of Silence. How many times has that thing been remade?
Oh yeah, and that one song where I can't remember the time. Like I'm an expert on Simon and Garfunkel. There's a song where he's riding in a bus with his girlfriend. They're crossing America, and he's just so scared, about what's in front of him, and it's just a song that is so melancholy, man.
You got to tell me what song, because that's not ringing a bell.
Oh yeah, I'll look it up. Yes.
Well, yeah, we're almost done here. Okay, number 12, Hotel California versus Thriller, and you picked Thriller, and you're correct. Hotel California was 26 million, and Thriller was 34 million. And then lastly, Whitney Houston Bodyguard versus Hootie and the Blowfish. You picked Whitney Houston, and you were way off. Really, 18 million for Bodyguard and 21 million for Hootie and the Blowfish. 21
really?
million. Yeah.
Really? Well,
crazy.
Shit. So,
but I mean that was a big record for those guys. Clearly,
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through this real quick, and I'll just because there's a lot of ties in here. There's a lot of stuff I found to be kind of interesting. So we start at the 14 million. At the 13 million mark, and that's Backstreet Boys Millennium, Bruce Springsteen Live from 75 to 85, Pearl Jam 10. You remember that record?
Yeah.
That purple one? Oh man, I love that record.
Yeah.
Purple Rain, Dixie Chicks Wide Open. 13 million records they sold. That's crazy. And then Whitney Houston's debut album was also 13 million. And then moving up the list, at 14 million, we have Adele. 21, we have Backstreet Boys. We have Britney Spears, Baby One More Time, which I'm not sure which one of the Britney Spears records that is, but clearly it was popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that is Carole King, Tapestry, which there's people that rave about that record. And I've listened to it, and I just can't get into it.
Yeah.
I just can't, yeah. And then here's another Garth Brooks, Rope in the Wind. That was another big popular one. Bat Out of Hell and Simon and Garfunkel. And then at 15 million records, we got the Bob Marley, Journey's Greatest Hits, Hide with Bob Marley and Dark Side of the Moon. Can you believe that?
Which greatest hit? Well, yeah.
Journey's Greatest Hit. Well, here you go. Here's the 15 million list. Bob Marley and the Wailers Legend, Journey's Greatest Hits, Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, Santana Supernatural, Steve Miller Band's Greatest Hits, and the Beatles' Red Album, all 15 million.
Huh.
I would not have lumped all of those together. I would have thought the Dark Side of the Moon would be way above the rest of them, but clearly not.
Right. You would think, but I think you and I are capable of thinking this way, but there is just, what is like Floyd, and not that Floyd isn't hugely popular, but if we were to go out in today's world and say, hey, who listens to Pink Floyd? They'd be like, no, but there's a lot of people that will listen to like this, this stuff that they're churning out, this bubblegum crap. And that's just the way it is.
But like, Journey, they've used that in so many soundtracks. So, I mean, people know it, so.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt.
Okay, so at 17 million, we have Boston. We have Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, Elton John's Greatest Hits, and the Beatles' Blue Album.
Mm-hmm.
18 million, we have Garth Brooks' No Fences, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, and Whitney Houston's Bodyguard.
Nice.
We hit the 20 million mark. This is a cool tie. Fleetwood Mac Rumors and Shania Twain, Come On Over, which I actually have that.
Do you really?
I have both of them. But I mean, yeah, I have Shania Twain. Yeah, it was a freaking great album. It was just good.
Okay.
And then at 21 million, we got Garth Brooks again, Double Live, and Hootie and the Blowfish. You imagine how much money Garth Brooks? He's got 3 albums in the top 10 all-time selling albums. That's insane, man.
I know. And is he? I don't even know. Is he still? What's going on with Garth?
I don't know if he's still recording. He's still alive.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if he's still recording or performing or not. But okay. So then so that was 21 million for those two, and then at 23 million, we got Billy Joel's Greatest Hits and Pink Floyd The Wall, and then we hit the 24 million mark. We got Zeppelin 4 and the Beatles' first album.
Okay.
And then AC/DC is By Itself with Back in Black at 25 million. Hotel California is By Itself at 26 million. Thriller at 34 million, and the best-selling album of all time is Eagles' Greatest Hits at 38 million.
Wow.
That's crazy, man.
Well, it's if you were to tell me, yeah, Eagles' Greatest Hits is the biggest all time selling album ever, I would be like, oh, I guess I could see that. But if you told me how much it was ahead of number two, I'd be
Yeah.
like, shut up.
What's what I was thinking. Like when I saw that, I was thinking like, well, shit. If somebody's just throwing this at me blindly, and they told me that, I would say, yeah, yeah, yeah. But wait a minute. Well, what about Thriller, right? What about Dark Side of the Moon? That's what I would have thought. Um, I didn't even think that Steve Miller Band would be tied with Dark Side of the Moon, but clearly they sold the shit out of that record.
I guess so. I guess Don Henley's doing whatever the hell Don. No, is he still alive? Yeah, Don Henley's still alive.
Don Henley's still around. Yeah,
Yeah,
Glenn
yeah.
Frey passed away about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes.
But man, you talk about a songwriting duo. Holy crap, man.
I think that band almost had too much talent, especially later on. Don Henley, Glenn Frey, Joe Walsh. It was insane. That whole band.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, I liked pretty much everything those guys ever did. Yeah. Even some of that late stuff. I mean,
yeah, and their early stuff is insane.
Oh, the early stuff it just speaks to the entire world. It's human. Yeah.
Yeah. So. It was also kind of country rock too. You know what I mean? There was definitely that moment. But what's your favorite Eagles song?
Oh man, that's hard. Eagles' Greatest Hits.
No, song.
Yeah, Eagles' Greatest Hits. I don't
exactly.
know. I mean, I really do like Hotel California for the structure of the song and the. I don't know, complexity is the wrong word, but I like how it moves. It's not a repetitive kind of thing. Like Take It Easy, repetitive. It's just, whatever. But I really, really, really like Sad Cafe. I really like that song.
Yeah.
That to me it's poetic and it's melancholy, but there's also hope kind of woven in there in the story. And some lamenting about looking back in the past and all that stuff. So.
Sure. I like Take It Easy. I think that's a great song.
Oh yeah, Take It Easy.
Yeah, and then
that's one where I was just telling I was at the other day. Is like you can cherry pick one or two liners out of the Eagles songs all day long and find out cool cherry pick little one liners out.
Yeah.
It's just it's crazy.
Yeah, and as far as like just pure rock, I like Life in a Fast Lane. That is a song that I can't really drive below like 85 miles an hour with that song on. And it's interesting because like that song when I first, now I understand what all the lyrics mean, and you're kind of like, wow, that was a fucked up couple, man.
Yeah, right.
You're like,
here's one for you. If you want to go check out some cool lyrics, and it's so easy to find lyrics nowadays online. Check out Steve Miller Band, Jungle Love. Check
really?
Out. Check out those lyrics. Yeah, I don't know if it's songs about him or somebody else, but he was trying to have an affair with this black woman that he met on an island somewhere, and he brought her a crate of papayas, and it's like, hey, I like you. Just like, what the heck would you bring a crate of papayas for? But anyway, I love Steve Miller. It's cool.
I love the things I like about Steve Miller has like certain hits that people are like, I love that song, and I'm kind of like, not my favorite Steve Miller song. It's just like Fly Like an Eagle, it's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even like what is it, The Joker? It's not my favorite Steve Miller song.
Yeah, overplayed really in my opinion.
Yeah. And also going back on you mentioned Hotel California. I love Hotel California, but no fault of anybody but myself. I've listened to it too much, right?
Yeah.
But Steve Miller, and another thing I love about Steve Miller is Steve Miller could be on this Zoom chat, and I wouldn't I'd be like, I don't know, he looks like it, but but it's just like
pure. The same way about Bob Seger, though, right? I mean, it's like he's just like a regular dude.
Yeah,
but who writes amazing music.
But I know Bob Seger.
Okay, fair enough.
But with that said, I know 1970s, 1980s Bob Seger. If I saw Bob Seger now, I'd be like, that's just some 85-year-old dude. Yeah, but the thing that was with Steve Miller. That is some of the his jet airliner songs like that. That is some freaking just feel good rock, and it's got the best hooks, man.
Yeah, well, that's how it's with Boston, man. That's why sometimes I'll send you the picture of my car stereo. Like, I'm listening to Boston on the way to work, and it's like, hell yeah, man. I mean, you cannot be in a bad mood if you listen to Boston.
I remember like my first real girlfriend. Like one time we were out driving around like on a date, and she's like, "Are we just gonna listen to Boston all night?" Yes.
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 Matter of fact, we are. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe the same song over and over again. I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny. So we were talking about this popularity thing, right? Which is, I don't give it as much. So just because the Eagles' greatest hits sold more albums than everybody else, I do not put that at the top of my all-time greatest albums list, right?
No.
Because whatever, it just happened to sell broader appeal, right? Sold more records. But on that note, I was listening to YYZ from Rush the other day. And did you know, I'm not sure the year, I'm going to say it was probably like 1984, 84 or 85. YYZ lost out to the Police in Best Instrumental by the Grammy. And the song that they won over YYZ was called Behind My Camel. And if you listen to it, it's off of Zenyatta Mandata, which is a great record. And it's a cool song, whatever. But you listen to that, and then you listen to YYZ, and like Rush got totally, totally ignored by the popular media. And they did. I mean, that's a famous thing about Rush is they got just marginalized completely. But if you listen to that Behind My Camel, and then you listen to YYZ, like, it's not even close, dude. YYZ is a million times better of a song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, the Police song is sort of it's a real drony kind of it's almost like experimental grungy it's like, I guess maybe, I don't know, you have to listen to it, but anyway, you'll listen to that and go, there's no way this song is better than YYZ. Just not.
If you're gonna say, so if you're asking me, like, do I find it hard to believe a Rush song is better than a Police song, dude? You're not, you know how, where I'm going.
Can you believe that the popular media did that?
Well, one time, way back, one time, my brother was trying to convince me that a song or an album was good, and his logic was that album won the Grammy for like the best new album, and my response was, yeah, Milli Vanilli won a Grammy for best new artist. Exactly. You know, I mean, so you know, there's that. You know, so you know, in award shows, you know, it's. Dude,
that's why they're tanking, dude. I mean, this one they just had last week, I mean, got shit for viewership. Nothing. People just don't care anymore.
No.
They're all self-righteous a-holes, man.
Yep. They're in their bubble. Nobody cares. I mean, we know what we like. And now, you know, because the internet kind of killed, you know, the critic because if you know,
everybody's a critic now.
Yeah, well, also, like, if you tell me a movie's good, or the film critic for Entertainment Weekly tells me a movie's good, and you guys have opposite opinions, who do you think I'm going to listen to?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I mean, and also, you know, there's so many agendas. Most of them I don't know what they are that the critics have.
Yes.
And I'm just not down. And also, I'm not. They're not my age. They don't like the same stuff I like. You know, so far removed from anything that I would ever be interested in. And and they're pushing things. So I'm just like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the things I've always not liked about Hollywood, I cannot think of a film that does this that I actually enjoyed, and that is when they do this self-referencing thing, like. You know that one show that you wanted me to watch with the guy who was an assassin who was taking acting classes?
Yeah.
What was that called?
Barry.
Yeah. I hate it when they place a story in Hollywood as actors and it's so self-referencing, and they always make these people out to be like either they're struggling so hard and they're, you know, all of that. They either play that card or they play this like we have all the answers card, and I've never ever liked when they did that. So when you and I started doing this movie reviews and you told me Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's exactly why I was not going to like it. But that is one, and I didn't really like all of the Hollywood referential stuff, but Brad Pitt, to me, he sold me that movie.
Yeah, well, DiCaprio too, right?
Yeah, DiCaprio also, his acting, right? But like his role I didn't like, but he was just so freaking fantastic that I ended up liking him. But the whole referencing of Hollywood and I don't know, it's just, to me it's
it's like it's what they know, so they drive it home, and only because I feel like I'm obligated to do this. The Barry Show, you're right, it is about Hollywood, it is, but I promise you, those two things you don't like, it doesn't do either one of them. I mean, they're initially you get the idea that they're kind of pushing the fact that they're these struggling actors and so forth, but but these are people with just a lot of faults. I think probably if I was to say there's one thing I don't like about it, and that because of that, is the characters aren't very likable. There's no real likable character in there. There's like one episode that honestly, and of course the episodes are like 30 or 45 minutes. One of these days we may sit down and watch this one episode, and it's not about Hollywood at all, but it is just a really interestingly produced episode. And and like I said, the reason I was kind of like, hey, I think you would like this is some of the filmmaking in there, some of the things they do. I'm like, wow, that was really crazy, you know. So, but anyway.
But to me, like, so this is back to the point, not to harp on this, but when they do it and they get that reaction out of you, to me, they've overdone it. Like the best stuff, you don't even see. It melds into the story and it affects you, but you don't see it. That's what, you know who Walter Murch is? Yeah,
but I was going to say, till you see it, you don't know, though. You don't know till you see it.
It's like, true, but my point is that if it elicits that sort of reaction out of you, it's probably way too obvious. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
No, that's not a slam on you. It's not saying that your reaction.
Oh, it's not okay.
Then
never mind.
Yeah, it's just like anybody.
You know, honestly, if your little stupid brain is impressed by it, I'll watch it.
Was that a nerve that I touched there? Oh, sorry, Tony. Somebody get the Tampax.
Wow. Yeah. Did you guys hear that? Honestly, if you heard that on the podcast, you know, probably if Doug heard it, he would have picked up way earlier.
But anyway, hey, at the end of the day,
no, that wasn't shitty at all, Doug.
Yeah, you like what you like.
Anyway, what you're saying? Go ahead.
No, I don't know what I was saying. I'm lost in thought now.
No, you were saying that my little brain.
Barry sucks. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Barry sucks. But no, the Hollywood referential stuff was not what I didn't like about Barry. I didn't like it because it was. I literally was predicting every single thing that was going to happen, and I just didn't like it.
Yeah. To me, there was things in there that, like it's in the third season now. The third season was shocking. I mean, so anyway. Okay. Yeah, but
you just enjoy that and MASH, and
I'll
just carry on.
So
I'll go listen to the police.
Anyway, how long I hate to say this, I did not start a timer this time. I have no clue how long we've been talking.
All right, well, I think I don't know. We can just wrap it there. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, I did have a couple funny stories I wanted to share, but they'll wait. They'll wait. Okay. You know, so, and also we have kind of had a theme for this, and for me to suddenly bust out with some sort of dumb story, I don't think it works. You know what I mean? Right. So
okay.
But anyway, yeah. So that is it. That's another one that we finished up. That was a good one. I really like the album thing. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
Did we burn that bridge? Is there anything else we can do like that's like that? You know what? I tell you what. I'll do the next one.
You do the next one.
I'll come up with some stuff,
and I'll leave it alone. I won't go looking for stuff.
I'll be like, okay, 2 cents, two perfumes. You have, eau de la toilette, and we have
Chanel number 4.
Yeah. So which one used more rose water?
Yes. Oh, Chanel, obviously.
Did I tell you that I was talking to Melly the other day? We were talking about like guy stuff versus a guy like shave, because she got some shaving cream, and I said, oh, that's the same company that makes my shaving cream, but and I looked at hers, and hers was like, and this company caters to like guy stuff, but they make lady products too. And hers is like, mango and rose scented. And mine is like stagecoach and saloon. They always have these guy smells. They're like, so what's that guy smell? It's tumbleweed and spittoon. You're like, but cedar and tobacco, so
right.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway. All right. I'm babbling. So
you're babbling.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. You have a great day, and we'll be talking again soon.
Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Oh yeah, I have status. I'm the mayor.
This has been an Analog Spectrum production and presentation. We appreciate you listening to our podcast. It means a lot to both me and Doug. As always, we're looking for topic suggestions, folks to interview, and friends to join us on the show.
If you can help with any or all of these, go ahead and send a quick note to Analog Spectrum, that's all one word, at gmail.com. Are you curious about our past uploads? Go check out our website. You'll find the link in the description. Finally, for any cast you've enjoyed, please leave a comment and a review. For that last part, it would mean a lot to us if you'd make it 5 stars. And don't forget to share us with your friends and family. Thanks again for taking time out of your busy day and spending time with us. There's nothing better than hanging out with you and all our friends in this crazy Analog Spectrum world.